Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of Australia's most extraordinary 50-cent coins. This isn't just pocket change. It's a masterpiece of minting, a national emblem struck in perfection, and a collector's dream worth thousands. You won't believe the story behind this coin. Let's moving on. First up, the 1985 Australian 50-cent coin, bearing the timeless depiction of the Australian coat of arms, stands as one of the most sought-after and elusive circulation issues in the nation's numismatic history. Minted during a transitional period within the Royal Australian Mint's production cycle, this particular coin has transcended its humble origins as pocket change to become an emblem of rarity, craftsmanship, and national identity. Collectors across Australia and internationally regard the 1985 issue as a numismatic enigma, a coin that exists in exceedingly limited numbers, rarely seen in general circulation, and often only encountered in the most refined private collections. At first glance, the coin carries the familiar dodecagonal, 12-sided, shape distinctive to Australia's 50-cent piece, a design originally introduced in 1969 to replace the round 1966 silver issue, struck in cupro-nickel. The alloy gleams with a muted luster that gracefully endures the passage of time, offering both resilience and beauty. The obverse presents the regal portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the esteemed sculptor Raphael Makhlouf, whose initials RDM can be discreetly observed at the neckline. This portrait radiates an aura of stately dignity, encapsulating a moment of royal continuity during a decade of cultural evolution in Australia. The Queen's poise, with the diadem and flowing curls, represents both the Commonwealth's heritage and the Mint's precision in engraving artistry. Turning to the reverse, the Australian coat of arms commands attention, a masterpiece of symbolic intricacy. The emu and kangaroo, standing on either side of the shield, signify progress and national identity. Both creatures, notably, are unable to move backward, representing Australia's steadfast march forward. The shield itself is partitioned into 6 segments, each containing the emblem of a state, from the Southern Cross constellation of New South Wales to the Black Swan of Western Australia, forming a proud testament to Federation unity. Above the shield rests the 7-pointed Commonwealth star, its luminous geometry echoing both sovereignty and aspiration. Beneath lies the unadorned inscription, Australia, and the denomination, 50, simple yet commanding, reinforcing the coin's elegant symmetry. What elevates the 1985 50-cent coin beyond its artistic merit is its unparalleled scarcity. Unlike most other years of issue, the 1985 mintage was never officially released into full public circulation. Instead, a limited production run was believed to have been primarily reserved for official mint sets, with an exceedingly small number accidentally entering the coinage system. This anomaly has fueled decades of fascination and speculation among collectors and numismatists, propelling the coin's market value to astonishing heights. While an ordinary 50-cent piece may carry a face value of merely $0.50, the 1985 coat of arms issue can command prices soaring into the tens of thousands. Exceptional uncirculated or mint state condition, examples have been appraised as high as $22,900, a testament to both its scarcity and its symbolic prestige. Each verified specimen of the 1985 50-cent coin is a story in itself, the tangible piece of Australian minting history that survived against the odds. Under magnification, collectors examine the clarity of the coat of arms, the definition of the Queen's curls, and the mint luster that whispers of untouched preservation. The coin's edges, crisply struck and geometrically precise, attest to the minting discipline of the Royal Australian Mint during the mid-1980s. For connoisseurs of numismatic art, the satisfaction lies not only in ownership but in the meticulous observation of die variations, microabrasions, and subtle tonal shifts, each marking adding to the coin's narrative and provenance. Beyond its physical attributes, the 1985 Australian 50-cent coin embodies a larger cultural resonance. It bridges the historical gap between everyday Australian life and the artistry of currency design. It reflects a moment in the nation's identity when modern minting technologies began to merge with traditional, emblematic design. When a simple coin could encapsulate both economic practicality and profound artistic expression, the coin stands as a reminder that numismatics is not merely about accumulation or trade. It is about preserving stories, heritage, and craftsmanship that define eras. As the years pass, fewer of these remarkable coins surface, and their value continues to escalate in private sales, auctions, and dedicated coin fairs. To hold an authentic 1985 Australian 50-cent coat of arms coin is to grasp a tangible piece of Australia's monetary and cultural legacy, a rare artifact that has transcended commerce to become an enduring symbol of pride and prestige. For serious collectors, acquiring this coin is more than a financial investment. It is the acquisition of an heirloom, a conversation piece that bridges generations, and a relic whose rarity ensures its place among the crown jewels of Australian numismatic achievement. Next up, the 2000 Australian 50-cent coin, commemorating the dawn of the new millennium, stands as one of the most captivating and historically charged issues ever. Struck by the Royal Australian Mint, it is not merely a piece of currency, it is a minted celebration of time itself, a tangible emblem of human progress, Australian pride, and the symbolic rebirth of a nation entering a new era. With its stunning design, intricate detailing, and remarkable cultural significance, the Millennium Year 50-cent coin has transcended its monetary origins to become an icon in modern numismatics. Today, in pristine, uncirculated, or near-perfect mint state condition, this coin has commanded extraordinary prices, reaching as high as $34,000, an astonishing figure that reflects not only its rarity but also its profound importance within the global collector community. In 2000, as the world collectively paused to mark the turning of 1,000 years of recorded civilization, nations sought ways to express renewal and identity through design, art, and symbolism. Australia, a land deeply rooted in both ancient heritage and modern innovation, chose to commemorate this monumental event through the artistry of its national coinage. The result was the Millennium, a breathtaking fusion of design and meaning, embodying both the history of the past and the promise of the future. The obverse of the coin features the dignified effigy of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, created by the acclaimed sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. His interpretation of the Queen presented a more realistic and contemporary portrayal, a departure from earlier idealized depictions, marking a symbolic shift befitting the turn of the millennium. The Queen's countenance, rendered in remarkable detail, radiates composure and continuity, a visual reminder that even as centuries turn, the enduring stability of the Commonwealth remains. The precise execution of the portrait, the subtle texture of the hair, and the graceful curvature of the profile exemplify the mint's impeccable craftsmanship at the height of its technical capability. The reverse, however, is where this coin transcends the realm of numismatic artistry. Designed by the gifted artist Louise Pinder, the reverse face of the 2000 Millennium 50-cent coin features an extraordinary reinterpretation of the Australian coat of arms, stylized with a bold, modern aesthetic that distinguishes it from every other issue before or since. The familiar kangaroo and emu stand proud, yet they are rendered in abstract forms, their silhouettes flowing into the circular arrangement of radiating lines, symbolizing unity, continuity, and the cyclical nature of time. At the heart of this design lies a concentric pattern that evokes both the solar halo and the pulse of renewal, a masterstroke of symbolism capturing the essence of the new millennium. But what truly makes the 2000 Millennium 50-cent coin legendary among collectors is the existence of two distinct varieties, the standard issue and the highly coveted incuse flag variety. The latter, a rare and intriguing minting anomaly, features the Union Jack within the flag on the shield engraved as a sunken incuse impression rather than the usual raised relief. This subtle difference, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye, transforms the coin into a collector's treasure of exceptional rarity. It is believed that only a small fraction of the total mintage bore this unique variation, possibly due to an early production die error at the mint, resulting in a coin that has become one of Australia's most desired modern numismatic pieces. For collectors and investors alike, the incuse flag variety represents the pinnacle of 21st century Australian coinage. Its rarity is unparalleled in an extraordinary accident of history that transformed an ordinary circulating coin into an artifact of immense monetary and historical value. In the numismatic marketplace, verified specimens have reached staggering figures, with sales reported in the vicinity of $34,000 for examples in superb mint condition. Each coin that surfaces at auction ignites intense competition, as enthusiasts and investors recognize that opportunities to acquire one are vanishingly rare. The combination of low availability, historical importance and visual elegance has elevated the 2000 Millennium coin into the elite echelon of modern collectibles. The coin's physical characteristics further underscore its artistry. Struck in cupronickel and measuring an impressive 3151 millimeters in diameter, its 12-sided geometry reflects the unique identity of Australia's decimal coinage. The edges, precisely defined, offer a tactile sense of craftsmanship that only the Royal Australian Mint could achieve. Under magnification, the interplay of light across the fine engraved details reveals the hand of a master engraver, subtle ridges, mirror finish fields, and frosted relief elements that together create a mesmerizing contrast. Even after a quarter century, the design remains timeless, its futuristic lines still appearing as fresh and bold as the day it was struck. The 2000 Australian 50-cent Millennium coin also occupies a deeply emotional place in the hearts of Australians. For many, it symbolizes not only the transition into a new age, but also a shared national memory and of fireworks over Sydney Harbour, of unity, optimism, and the promise of technological and cultural transformation. To hold one of these coins is to touch a moment in time, to feel the pulse of an entire generation that looked forward with confidence and pride. As such, its value extends far beyond metal or rarity. It is imbued with nostalgia, symbolism, and an enduring sense of hope. Over the years, the market for the Millennium 50-cent coin has continued to mature, with collectors from around the world vying to secure authenticated specimens. High-grade examples, often preserved in archival conditions or secured within sealed presentation sets, have become centerpieces in prestigious collections. Each transaction, each auction result, adds another layer to the coin's legend, reinforcing its reputation as one of the crown jewels of Australian decimal numismatics. For the serious investor or connoisseur, ownership of a 2000 Millennium Year 50-cent coin, particularly the Incuse flag, variety represents far more than possession of a rare, collectible. It is a statement of discernment, a testament to an individual's understanding of heritage and artistry, and a tangible store of cultural and financial value. In a world where most objects lose meaning with time, this coin only grows more significant, more admired, and more valuable with every passing year. Every detail of this coin tells a story, from the deliberate precision of its engraving to the serendipitous, minting variation that gave birth to its legend. From the national pride it reflects to the global fascination it commands. The 2000 Australian 50-cent Millennium Year coin is not merely a collectible artifact, it is an heirloom of history, an emblem of Australian ingenuity, and a rare masterpiece whose beauty and significance will endure for centuries to come. Next up, the 1994 Australian 50-cent International Year of the Family coin represents a moment when art, ideology, and minting mastery converged into a single enduring object of beauty. Issued by the Royal Australian Mint to honor the United Nations proclamation of 1994 as the International Year of the Family, this coin stands as both a tangible expression of social values and a technical triumph of Australian craftsmanship. Today it occupies an exalted place among modern numismatic treasures, a coin whose modest face value conceals a narrative of global significance and artistic distinction. To appreciate its allure, one must begin with context. The early 1990s marked a period of reflection on the meaning of kinship and community across an increasingly interconnected world. The United Nations declared 1994 the International Year of the Family to encourage recognition of the family as the fundamental unit of society. Australia, renowned for its cultural diversity and humanitarian outlook, embraced the theme with characteristic creativity. The Royal Australian Mint chose its most symbolic denomination, the dodecagonal 50-cent piece, as the canvas for this celebration, ensuring that every citizen might hold in their hand a miniature monument to unity, nurture, and continuity. The coin's obverse bears the effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by sculptor Raphael Makhlouf. It is a portrait of serene dignity, the Queen facing right, wearing the royal diadem, her features delicately modeled to convey both grace and authority. The sculptural balance of Makhlouf's design, with its flowing curls and soft interplay of light and shadow, reflects the transitional aesthetic of the late 20th century, bridging classical realism and modern minimalism. Around the effigy, the inscriptions Elizabeth II and Australia 1994 frame the monarch in a circular harmony, symbolizing continuity between crown and country. It is, however, the reverse design that captures the heart of collectors and art historians alike. Conceived by the talented sculptor Carolyn Young, the motif radiates symbolism and warmth. At its center stands a stylized human figure embracing two smaller figures, the trio merging into a single, flowing line that forms a protective circle, the universal geometry of love and belonging. Beneath this image appear the words, International Year of the O Family, balanced above the denomination, 50. The simplicity of the composition belies its emotional power. Without reliance on national emblems or heraldic devices, it speaks directly to the shared human experience of family, transcending borders and cultures. Under magnification, the artistry becomes even more apparent. Each curve of the figures is cleanly defined, yet gently contoured to catch the light. The negative space surrounding them is perfectly proportioned, allowing the design to breathe. The field, when preserved in mint state condition, displays a mirror-like brilliance, while the raised devices exhibit a fine satin frost. This delicate interplay of textures, mirror and matte, reflects the mint's precision striking techniques, showcasing the pinnacle of its 1990s technological innovation. The rarity of the 1994 IF 50 cent coin is what elevates it from beautiful, commemorative to legendary collectible. While millions of standard 50-cent pieces circulated during the decade, the specific collector quality issues produced for sets, proofs, or limited runs of this design have proven exceptionally scarce in flawless condition. Over the ensuing decades, attrition, handling, and time have reduced the population of pristine examples dramatically. Among high-grade certified specimens, the survival rate is vanishingly small, explaining why the market has seen valuations soaring toward $25,000 for coins demonstrating perfect strike, untarnished surfaces, and impeccable provenance. When such a coin appears at auction, excitement ripples through the numismatic community. Bidders recognize that this is not merely a decorative token, but a relic of a global cultural movement. It represents a rare moment when Australia's coinage stepped beyond nationalism to express universal humanity. In its artistry, the coin mirrors the values it commemorates: harmony, inclusiveness, and continuity, as while its scarcity ensures that ownership conveys both aesthetic, pleasure, and historical prestige. The tactile qualities of the piece also deserve mention. Struck in durable cupro-nickel, the coin measures 31.51 millimeters in diameter, its 12-sided form both functional and symbolic. The geometry itself, 12 equal sides converging toward balance, has been interpreted by many collectors as a quiet nod to the completeness of family unity and the cyclical rhythm of generations. The reeded edges catch the light in a pattern reminiscent of sunbeams, reinforcing the coin's visual energy. Even its weight, a reassuring 15.55 grams, gives the holder a sense of substance and permanence, qualities one associates with the foundations of family life. For numismatists, the 1994 IYF coin is an exemplar of how commemorative design can achieve genuine artistic integrity. It avoids the clutter and excess that sometimes burden thematic coinage. Instead, it communicates its message through minimalist grace and symbolic clarity. This restraint has contributed to its enduring appeal. The design feels as contemporary today as it did 3 decades ago. From an investment perspective, the coin's trajectory has been nothing short of remarkable. Early collectors, who recognized its potential, secured examples from mint sets or private releases, often without realizing they were acquiring a future classic. As the years passed and the global market for Australian decimal rarities expanded, the 1994 IYF coin began to command attention from high-end investors seeking tangible assets with both historical resonance and aesthetic excellence. Each publicized sale reinforces its elite status, establishing it as one of the cornerstone issues of late 20th century Australian numismatics. To hold an uncirculated 1994 International Year of the Family 50-cent coin is to experience a fusion of metal and meaning. It is cool to the touch yet warm in spirit, industrially precise yet profoundly human. The design captures the essence of protection and connection. A parent's arms, a circle of love, a society built upon the simple strength of togetherness. Within that 12-sided frame lies an entire philosophy, rendered in miniature by artisans whose technical skill match their understanding of symbolism. Decades later, as families evolve and definitions expand, this coin remains a timeless tribute to the bonds that anchor civilization. It endures as a statement of values, a celebration of design excellence, and a collector's prize of the highest order. Whether preserved in a velvet-lined case, displayed under museum lighting, or passed reverently between generations, it tells the same story, that beauty, compassion, and craftsmanship are inseparable in the finest expressions of human creativity. Thus, the 1994 Australian 50-cent International Year of the Family coin endures, a masterpiece of modern minting, a beacon of cultural pride, and a lasting symbol of unity. Its market value may be measured in dollars, but its true worth lies in the ideals it embodies and the legacy it carries forward. For the discerning collector, the acquisition of such a coin is not simply a purchase. It is a moment of connection with history, art, and the enduring spirit of family itself. Next up, the 1969 Australian 50-cent coin stands as one of the most historic and symbolically potent issues in the nation's modern numismatic story, a coin, whose creation marked not only a technical rebirth for Australia's decimal series, but also a reaffirmation of national identity through art, craftsmanship, and resilience. Known for its distinctive dodecagonal shape and its magnificent rendering of the Australian coat of arms, the 1969 issue became the first of its kind. After the dramatic recall of the ill-fated round 1966 silver 50-cent piece, it occupies a singular place in history as the moment when Australia's coinage emerged from a costly misstep into an era of ingenuity and permanence. Today, in immaculate mint state preservation, a top-grade example of the 1969 coat of arms coin can command as much as $39,000. Its value reflecting scarcity, condition rarity, and its foundational role in defining the character of all subsequent Australian 50-cent issues. The story of this coin begins in the turbulent aftermath of decimal changeover. In 1966, the Royal Australian Mint released a round 50-cent coin struck in 80% silver. Rapidly, the intrinsic bullion value of the metal surpassed its face value, and by 1968, nearly all had been withdrawn from circulation or hoarded. The government faced a dilemma. The public needed a high-value coin for commerce, but it had to be durable, recognizable, and economically viable. The solution arrived in 1969, a redesign both functional and aesthetic, realized through extraordinary engineering and design refinement. The Royal Australian Mint introduced a new 12-sided shape, distinctive to touch and sight, immediately separable from the silver predecessor and imbued with unmistakable national symbolism. The obverse of the 1969 50-cent coin features the stately effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, executed by the gifted British sculptor Arnold Machin OBE. His portrait, debuting in Australian currency that very year, replaced the earlier Mary Gillick likeness and would become one of the most recognized royal profiles of the 20th century. The Queen appears serene and youthful, wearing the royal tiara presented by the Duke of Edinburgh, her features soft yet commanding. The delicate modeling of hair and diadem reflects Machin's mastery of bas-relief sculpture, while the evenness of the strike and the gentle curvature of the portrait's shoulders exemplify the Royal Australian Mint's precision tooling of the era. Around the effigy, the legend, Elizabeth II Australia 1969, frames the portrait in unbroken unity, symbolizing a seamless link between crown, country, and modernity. On the reverse, the Australian coat of arms dominates the field in breathtaking relief. Designed originally by Stuart Devlin, the master artist often hailed as the father of Australia's decimal coinage, the composition is both heraldic and modern, a perfect marriage of tradition and clarity. The central shield bears the emblems of the 6 states, the Cross of St. George for New South Wales, the Lion of England for South Australia, the Crown and Stars of the Southern Cross for Victoria, the Black Swan for Western Australia, the Red Cross and Crowned Lion for Queensland, and the Maltese Cross for Tasmania. Supporting the shield are Australia's 2 most recognizable native creatures, the kangaroo and the emu, both chosen because they cannot move backward, an allegory of national progress. Above them rises the Commonwealth Star, radiating purpose and aspiration, while below rests the inscription, Australia 50, its plain typography offsetting the ornate heraldic structure with modern restraint. The aesthetic success of the 1969 design cannot be overstated. Devlin's artistry lies in his ability to balance density and openness, symbolism and simplicity. Each line of the coat of arms carries crisp definition. The beasts appear alive with tension and grace, and the recessed fields reflect light in shifting patterns that give the coin depth and vitality. When struck perfectly, as in the highest grade, specimens coveted by collectors. The coin exhibits mirror-like fields, frosted relief, and a tactile geometry that makes it instantly recognizable even in darkness. Technically, the 1969 issue also marked an engineering triumph. Struck in cupro-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, the coin offered strength and corrosion resistance, ensuring longevity in circulation. Its diameter of 31.51 millimeters and weight of 15.55 grams gave it a substantial feel, while the 12 equal sides, a world first. For a 50-cent piece, allowed automated vending, recognition and tactile identification for the visually impaired. This functional innovation, paired with sculptural beauty, made the coin an instant design classic, earning praise from minting institutions worldwide. The rarity that drives its current market value arises from condition and provenance. Although millions were originally minted, the vast majority entered active circulation and suffered wear, dulling and edge abrasion. Only a minute fraction survived in untouched, fully brilliant mint state condition, and within that elite subset, only a handful exhibit the razor-sharp strike and flawless surfaces demanded by top-tier investors. These few coins, often preserved in early presentation sets or held by mint insiders, represent the pinnacle of 1960s Australian coinage quality. Certified examples graded at the highest possible levels have achieved auction results, approaching $39,000, reflecting a confluence of rarity, perfection, and historical significance. Collectors and historians alike value the 1969 50 cent not merely as the first of its shape, but as a coin of cultural rebirth. It stands as a symbol of adaptation and ingenuity, a nation learning from error and emerging stronger. It also embodies the aesthetic maturity of Stuart Devlin's design philosophy, to express Australia's identity through art that was modern, confident, and globally resonant. Every contour of the kangaroo's limb, every feather etched into the emu's flank, and every facet of the Commonwealth star tells a story of renewal. Beyond numismatics, the coin resonates emotionally. For Australians who lived through the transition from pounds and shillings to dollars and cents, it marks a moment of national transformation. The shift from silver to cupro-nickel mirrored the country's move from old colonial dependence to modern economic autonomy. Thus, when one holds an untouched 1969 50-cent coin, one holds a relic of that awakening, a piece of metal that quietly records the optimism and resilience of a country redefining itself. Under ideal lighting, the coin's surfaces reveal an almost architectural beauty. The dodecagon glints as light travels along its ridged perimeter. The frosted coat of arms rises from a glassy field, and the micro-engraved edges, unseen by the casual observer, testify to machining precision that was cutting edge in its day. To serious collectors, such nuances are not trivial details. They are the language of quality, the vocabulary by which authenticity, rarity, and value are judged. Today, more than half a century after its release, the 1969 Australian 50-cent coin remains a benchmark for what a circulating coin can achieve artistically and technically. Museums, national archives, and private investors covet prime examples, and each auction appearance rekindles debate among experts about die varieties, strike depth, and luster preservation. The coin's enduring appeal lies in its dual identity. It is both a utilitarian object and a national icon, both the first of its form and the standard by which all later issues are measured. For the seasoned numismatist, acquiring a perfect 1969 coat of arms 50-cent coin is akin to possessing the cornerstone of modern Australian coinage, the piece that set the template for half a century of design excellence. For the investor, it is a tangible asset whose story, beauty, and rarity converge to create lasting market strength. And for the historian, it is a distilled fragment of 1960s optimism, captured forever in metal. To see one in pristine condition, gleaming, sharply struck, and untouched by time, is to experience the ideal intersection of art, engineering, and national pride. In every respect, the 1969 Australian 50-cent coat of arms coin deserves its exalted reputation as both a masterpiece of design and a cornerstone of Australian heritage, a coin whose elegance and symbolism continue to command admiration, and whose finest surviving examples rightly justify valuations approaching $39,000 in today's discerning numismatic market. Next up, the 2014 Australian 50-cent coin, bearing the majestic Commonwealth coat of arms, represents the quiet perfection of modern Australian minting. Struck nearly half a century after the first dodecagonal 50-cent piece of 1969. This coin continues, a design lineage that has come to define the visual language of Australia's decimal currency. Yet the 2014 issue, minted with 21st century precision and subtle aesthetic refinement, captures far more than continuity. It embodies the Royal Australian Mint's mastery of craftsmanship at the height of technological maturity. In superb uncirculated or proof condition, high-grade specimens of this coin have been known to reach appraised values of $11,400, a figure that reflects its exceptional preservation, limited distribution in proof and collector sets, and its enduring symbolic significance. To understand the coin's stature, one must first appreciate its lineage. The design itself traces back to the genius of Stuart Devlin CMG, the preeminent designer whose artistic vision shaped the entire decimal series introduced in 1966. By 2014, Devlin's coat of arms motif had become not merely an emblem of state, but a cultural constant. The one reverse design that, through decades of national change, remained unaltered. The Royal Australian Mint continued to strike it not out of inertia, but out of reverence. Its composition, balance, and symbolism had achieved a kind of perfection that transcended the fashions of the time. On the obverse, the coin features Ian Rank Broadley's effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, introduced to Australian coinage in 1999. Rank Broadley's portrait is more intimate than its predecessors, the Queen's. Mature visage is rendered with unflinching realism, the diadem set lightly upon her hair, the expression resolute yet humane. In 2014, this portrait served as a poignant emblem of continuity. A Commonwealth monarch whose image had evolved across the coins of an entire era, yet whose presence still anchored the national currency in dignity. Around the effigy appears the legend Elizabeth II Australia 2014, each letter struck in perfect proportional spacing, its clarity a quiet proof of the Mint's state-of-the-art die preparation. The reverse design, however, remains the heart of the coin's enduring appeal. Here, the Australian coat of arms unfolds in miniature splendor. The central shield displays 6 compartments, each representing one of the nation's states: the Cross of St. George and Stars of New South Wales, the Crowned Lion of Queensland, the Southern Cross of Victoria, the Black Swan of Western Australia, the Maltese Cross of Tasmania, and the Piping Shrike of South Australia. Flanking the shield stand the great heraldic guardians, the kangaroo and the emu, poised on either side in elegant tension. Neither animal can move backward, a symbolism that speaks to Australia's national ethos of progress. Above them shines the 7-pointed Commonwealth Star, representing unity among the states and territories, while below the word Australia and the denomination 50 complete the composition with architectural symmetry. In the 2014 striking, every element of this design achieves a level of sharpness impossible in the early decades of production. Laser-cut dies and computer-modeled. Engraving allowed for unprecedented precision. The feathers of the emu appear as individual striations. The kangaroo's musculature rises in subtle relief, and the micro-engraved field reflects light in a diffused sheen that feels almost silken to the eye. Collectors who study the coin under magnification note the exact intersection of heraldic lines, the perfect registration of the shield's charges, and the faultless geometry of the 12-sided rim, all hallmarks of 21st century minting excellence. Physically, the coin adheres to the enduring specifications that have defined the denomination since C9 cupro-nickel composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel, a mass of 15.55 grams, and a diameter of 31.51 millimeters. Its metallic balance yields a soft silver-white tone that ages gracefully, resisting tarnish and corrosion. When preserved in proof condition, often within official presentation, cases, the contrast between the frosted relief and mirror field produces a visual depth that borders on the sculptural. In circulation strike, the coin maintains a satisfying heft, its 12 sides catching and releasing, light in a rhythmic pattern that seems to animate the coat of arms itself. Although millions of standard 2014 50-cent coins were produced for everyday commerce, the specimens that command collector values approaching $11,400 belong to a far more exclusive class: the presentation proofs, the select strike errors, or the die-polished. High-grade mint releases certified at the uppermost grading thresholds. Such coins are often preserved in pristine encapsulation, their fields immaculate, their details untouched by human handling. In these elite examples, numismatists find not merely a coin, but a benchmark, a physical manifestation of the Royal Australian Mint's precision and devotion to heritage. The cultural resonance of the 2014 issue extends beyond its technical beauty. That year marked a period of reflection in Australian society, the centenary of the onset of World War I, and an era of renewed awareness of national identity. The continued use of the coat of arms design served as an unconscious reminder of Australia's unity, resilience, and shared story. In an age of rapid digital transactions, the tactile permanence of the 50-cent piece affirmed the enduring relevance of tangible currency, an object that one could hold, feel, and pass from hand to hand, carrying with it the emblems of nationhood. From an investment standpoint, the 2014 coat of arms 50-cent coin has proven a quiet achiever within the modern decimal market. Collectors increasingly seek perfect late-series examples, recognizing that as mintages fluctuate and design portraits evolve, the most precisely struck coins from transitional years often become future classics. The 2014 issue, bridging the rank broadly portrait era and the approaching obverse redesign, represents such a threshold. Its appeal lies not only in rarity of grade but in narrative context, the final phase of a stable artistic lineage before the inevitable change that accompanies new monarchic effigies and 21st century innovation. Aesthetically, the coin rewards slow observation, rotated under natural light, and the coat of arms seems almost alive. The emu's feathers flash with microscopic highlights. The kangaroo's stance projects energy. The Commonwealth star glows like a tiny burst of daylight. The angular rim reflects 12 distinct beams, a dodecagonal halo encircling national symbolism. To hold such a specimen is to appreciate not only its artistry, but the tactile engineering that makes Australian coinage among the world's most recognizable. Collectors who acquire high-grade examples of the 2014 50-cent often describe a sense of holding modern history made permanent. It bridges the pioneering era of Devlin's 1960s vision and the precision-engineered currency of the present day. Every detail, from the alignment of lettering to the polish of its dies, bears witness to the Royal Australian Mint's 50 years of evolution. It is a coin both contemporary and classical, a creation that respects tradition while manifesting the technical prowess of a new century. As years pass and Australia's coinage continues to evolve, the 2014 issue will be remembered as one of the final full mintage strikes, bearing the complete rank broadly effigy before the Mint's transition to newer obverse designs. Its impeccable craftsmanship, its symbolic continuity, and its limited population and gem-proof condition ensure that it will remain a focal point for serious numismatists and investors. Among modern decimals, it represents a touchstone of stability, a coin that requires no embellishment to convey authority and grace. To the discerning collector, the 2014 Australian 50-cent coat of arms coin is more than a denomination. It is a microcosm of national heritage rendered in metal. Its value of $11,400 in elite condition reflects not speculative hype, but enduring admiration for design purity, technical excellence, and historical continuity. Half a century after Devlin's first concept reshaped Australia's coinage, the 2014 issue reaffirms that perfection need not change and it need only be preserved. For those fortunate enough to own one, it serves as a tangible testament to Australia's artistry, integrity, and unbroken sense of identity, destined to gleam in collections long after lesser coins have faded from memory.